qualify for the main stage.
Couldn't have it any other way. I mean, for North American fans, you know, did you really think it was going to be so easy? Did you think you could unclench? It would be a 4-0, no nervousness at all?
I did.
No,
I was wrong.
No. Learn your lesson. You should know never unclench. You know, C9 had to make it a little dicey and have a little fun. Now, that said, for DFM, I think this is actually such an interesting matchup to get again because
awesome.
I felt like this was a rivalry between the two teams. They played in 2018, they played at MSI this year, and then again right now. This is going to be the 6th game between these two teams in their organization's history. Pretty sure that's the most between a major region team and a minor region team at international competition. I would assume that's true.
Yep, me too.
And to have Cloud9 be like, nah, it's not a rivalry. You know, like that kind of felt like a little bit of slap in the face to DFM to be like, oh, no. Even though they beat us at MSI and they made us, you know, sweat a couple times, like it's not a rivalry. And so I feel like this is a great chance for DFM to answer that kind of insult, being able to steal the #1 seed from them and hand them an L. So I'm excited to see what they cook up for us.
All right, well, this draft is already off to quite the start. Twistivate, LeBlanc, Silas banned on the DFM side. Urgot, Rise, and Talon banned by C9. And first pick, Leona of all champions, which does feel smart. Vulcan's Leona has been exceptional. It's not that his role is bad by any means, but I feel like Vulcan's a very, like, stab you in the front kind of engage support, and Leona just has so much range to go in on just about any play.
Yeah, I think he's been incredible on it. It's a nice takeaway. I think with a lot of the other bans that have come in being pretty targeted, the Silas LeBlanc TF at Perks. And there we go. So what I was going to say, with the Silas ban in the previous, or with the Silas taken in the previous game, you did not see the Amumu taken by Vulcan, and that's why he ended up on the Rel. And so now we're going to see him on this Amumu with the MF. Curse of the Sad Bullet time is back. It has been tremendously underwhelming so far.
Is this the one? Is this the team that can't Amumu the dub? That'd be a nice way to qualify into the World Championships main stage. As a reminder, winner of this game is done. They don't have to play any more play-ins. You are qualified in to the main stage of the World Championships for Cloud9. That would be a relief, given that they could have done this earlier by beating Unicorns of Love, but could not stay undefeated. But DetonatioN FocusMe, the first time ever that the region has qualified to the main stage of any international event, I believe. So there is a lot on the line here to claim first in this group and not have to play in play-ins any longer. Zinzaldo picked up by DFM. Looks like they're staying true for many junglers here so far in play-ins. Beautipont is going to go to Ezreal, and looks like we're going to round it out with a Bladder Classic. Indeed, it's already locked in. Olaf is back on the menu.
A little bit of the comfort with the new in the MF Amumu, grabbing the Olaf for Cloud9. And like you were just saying, you know, about how important this match is, DFM started the play-ins off getting slammed by Cloud9. So I'm sure they want justice for that. But also, like you said about how big of a matchup this is, not need to play. They will play the winner of Peace and Red Canids from Group A. But for DFM, like, and those two other teams, you know, no matter what happens, we're having a wildcard team make it in potentially through that part of the bracket, unless they knock. I mean, Cloud9 could end up there and then knocked out. That'd be insane too. Like, anything's possible right now, and I'm just really excited for the knockout stage, regardless of what happens here for that reason.
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, it is great that we're going to be seeing these two teams again in one way or another, right? One at the main stage, one, you know, over the next few days, actually on Sunday when they do play, because getting second does at least give you a bye through the best of 5 qualifiers. Aurelia, though, banned away. Nah, banned away. Evie is losing the champion series. Got Urgot banned, is getting targeted left, right, and center. Fudge is shooketh as Gangplank gets banned away.
I'm surprised at the Aurelia ban. I don't think I've seen a ton of Evie Aurelia. Like we talked about before, he's largely a bruiser player in a lot of ways. You know, the Nars, Renekton's, Urgots, Aatroxes, and stuff like that. And at the flip side, you see them banning out a lot of the carries for the side of DFM against Fudge. You know, they've seen what he's done in this tournament so far. They don't want any more of that. So getting rid of the Gwen and the GP. And I'm sure we will see Fudge holding that last pick. I'm sure Perks is probably the one to show his hand here.
Supply into mage, want magic damage given the current composition, and that makes sense. Zoe is among, it's funny, it's so hard to pin down a best champion for Perks because he is just so good on such a wide array of picks, but Zoe is among his best champions, I would say. Although I guess I would have said about LeBlanc too, and he did look very good in the early stages, but couldn't quite stitch it together towards the later. Regardless, this does feel like a counter pick to me. This would be as well for Arya if they want to go for it. LeBlanc is banned, so that can't be a counter pick that Arya can take, which he would have wanted. So Orianna instead.
Yeah, I don't feel like either mid laner is thrilled with being forced down this far onto their tier list, but you know, here we are. And the set top, like I said, Evie more of the bruiser player. Set was one of his mainstay champions in the win rate is again. It's something
high.
Absolutely insane in the LCS. It's one of the staple champions. It's probably one of the reasons he's won MVP multiple times in the LCS was when Olaf was meta, he just absolutely takes over games. Not the strongest champion in the meta currently, but he's going to have priority lanes to kind of play around, so it should be pretty good for him. To get some invades and really put some pressure on Steel, who's looked a lot better. That latest Lilia game was really good out of him, and I've been impressed with what we've seen out of Steel so far.
Yeah, it's a really fun jungle matchup, actually. That's a great call out. As teams are readying up to get into game, a single best of one to qualify for the World Championships. Gonna be a fun one here. I am very curious. I mean, I feel like this has happened so much that like everyone knows, but like, can Fudge maintain control of Evie? Because if you cannot, he is going to teleport to the bottom lane and give you to put a double kill.
I feel like Evie is the biggest like 0 to 100 in the tournament. You know, he went from getting absolutely dumpstered, like you said, by Fudge in that first game, to being the dumpsterer. I don't know, there's got to be a more eloquent way of putting that, but he went from being in the dumpster to throwing kids in the dumpster.
Yep.
Off Urgot, though, to be clear, it was those games that it was the most impressive with his TP plays and coordination and stuff like that. So he's the one I think I want to track the most because it's been very volatile for him. And Fudge does have control of the lane, probably again with the superior matchup.
Yeah, again, definitely tracking these junglers early on. DetonatioN FocusMe actually continuing to stack defensively. That seems to be their almost like standard level 1, is they just like wait for you to invade and hope you walk by. Cloud9 get a little bit of vision as a result. Do get a ward done onto the blue buff, so we'll have some information about where Steel is. But other than that, teams, at least from games that we've seen, haven't really been going super deep on the level 1s. Just, you know, posturing, maybe trying to catch someone, but...
Yeah, it feels like a lot of grouping up and hoping for a face check more than going in yourself with 5-man or something like that. A lot of the champions in the current meta aren't these, like, absolutely busted level 1 champs. I mean, like, you know, Braum, Ezreal is a combination where you're like, okay, we're invading because you cannot stop our Q spam, and once we lock you up, you're dead. Not quite as strong currently. So C9 going to hide Blabber's start, and there's no wards down from DFM, so they're going to have no idea exactly where Blabber is. They've had both top and bot in lane the entire time for C9. Meanwhile, C9 gets intel, you get the bot start. I mean, they also had a ward down in top side that they were able to get, so they knew blue buff wasn't started. You see bot lane come to lane late. This is going to be Ezreal and Leona sacking wave priority and giving it to C9.
Which C9 loves. They have gone in so often in level 1 or level 2 in 2v2s. Vulcan does have the bandage ready. He does have Ignite. It's Ignite and Cleanse versus Heal and Ignite. So Sven obviously needs to stay safe against Leona. It's pretty much standard practice, especially for someone like Misfortune, who doesn't have a way to get herself out from under a lot of that CC, and you often are a obvious target when you channel your ulti. It's one of the reasons Leona, I think, has been so popular, and Gang has been very accurate on both Thresh and Leona so far this tournament. So even though I expect the early levels to be a little rough, Gang is real good at hitting skill shots. As Zenith Blade is going to get right in there. Yutapon going to be the target, but Vulcan the target on the other side. The Igniter already committed.
No.
Vulcan going back in. The bandage top is going to betray him. And Yutapon finds first blood, and Sven is now forced to flash. Gang follow flashes in. A great cleanse out of Sven.
Ooh.
Wonderful dodge as well on the Mystic shot. But that is disaster for Cloud9 early on.
Horrible start to the early game there. Big mistake by Vulcan queuing back in. I mean, Sven able to kite out the very end. That last Mystic shot probably saved his life, because Yutapon maybe could have healed in range for some more autos after that. But oof, that was a rough start after what I actually thought was a decent beginning to get after getting jumped on. Getting his aftershock off with his first point blank bandage toss was something that was like, oh, nice. He mitigated some damage, and then the second one going back in was eye bulge moment.
All the Mumu would never make that play.
That's true.
Can never mess it up. Unfortunately, Vulcan gets picked off there. Not sure if they were looking for the counter angle after getting the Ignite, because you have an obvious advantage there, right? When they use your Ignite, didn't seem to do that much. But let's watch it again.
Yeah, so Gang, obviously just a good start to the play, get some chip damage in. Here, the bandage toss by Mumu to get that aftershock off, I liked a lot by Vulcan. But here, he wanted to lock up Leona before the minions got in the way. I just misread how the minions were going to path. Didn't see them walking in front of the Leona there, and just ends up flying in front of nothing. It still would have been a risky counter engage at that point. I mean, it's still very low health on him, but he had the Ignite. Maybe he thought he could have CC him up and allow MF to get the kill.
Oh, that was so close out of Gang. Hex Flash being used there to try and pick off Perks. Love the attempt as Perks freshly TP'd back to lane, but unfortunately does not connect. But again, applying pressure, mid is often a very tricky lane to gank, but Perks would have been in trouble there if that Zenith Blade had connected.
Yeah, and DFM already trying to use that Prowler's Claw Zoe. Too funny. Yeah, they tried to use the early bot pressure that they got, try and get it onto Perks. Perks, I did like the Zoe takeaway in the draft. It is Arya's most played champion this year, and so a champion that he has a lot of proficiency on. He even played it this tournament and looked decent on it. So I did like the takeaway, and we'll have to see if Perks can land some of these huge sleepy trouble bubbles. We've seen a lot of Perks montage plays as well himself on Zoe, so has a fair amount of agency in this game.
Yeah, in more than one lane, actually.
True.
Zoe everywhere for Perks. As C9 are going to get a very early dragon. This is just the Olaf advantage,
Yeah.
This is something you get to buy when you draft Olaf.
Yeah, it's good to see that Cloud9 still have some semblance of control in the bot lane. It was one of those lanes I was talking about that they should be able to have some priority to enable Olaf. And sometimes as an Olaf, one of your lanes just starts losing when they shouldn't, and you're like, well, I was looking for some bot side invades. Guess I won't do those now. But C9 still seem to have enough control over the Ezreal Leona lane that they're not just shoved in under turret.
I wonder at what point it's like muscle memory. Like he can't not go to the dragon at that time. It's like just ingrained in his jungle clear.
Olaf.
And the bot lane's like, I guess we gotta go.
5-minute dragon. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Olaf, a pretty big CS lead right now. Blabber on the power clear train. With Jace top, you're not trying to be too interactive like we've talked about before, especially against the set. You want him on an island, you want him getting his own CS lead. You see already a 10 CS lead in favor of Fudge, and that means Blabber can just clear up there, make sure his top lane are safe. And bot lane was probably the play if you were going to make one, and based off how this game started, Blabber's happy to stay in his jungle. Yep.
Also love Perks showing respect there. Gang was missing again. We could see that Steel and Gang once again lining up for a potential 3v1 in mid, but Perks knows Leona's gone and just backs off there.
And just look at the respect by C9's bot lane. DFM have so much pressure down there right now. No wards in the river. They have a pink in the bot side of mid lane for DFM. They have one in the river as well. They have not seen Steel in a hot minute. Arya recall, but they didn't know that. They didn't have any vision of that. So, C9 was all the way back waiting until Blabber could get in range, and DFM having some nice vision control on the bot side.
That was very close.
It was close.
Vulcan almost finds it. Yutapon does not get got. I think he had Arcane Shift back up. He did use it pretty aggressively near the tower, I think, to maybe get the wave pushed in or maybe just get some poke happening. But Blabber clears out the ward, CC doesn't land, and Blabber doesn't waste any time. Also gets this ward here as well, which is going to free up a ton of space here for Perkz to continue pushing in aggressively. But again, Blabber, if he doesn't have to go to these lanes, doesn't want to go to these lanes. At least not before Amumu is like level 6.
Yeah, I think you're going to want the Amumu ult for setup. There's going to be a bit of an advantage here with C9 getting a little bit far ahead. No flash on Sven yet. I wonder if they have this timed perfectly.
Oh, Gang is just in such a good spot. There's the Hex Flash again. Straight into Sven. He cleanses out. He does have his flash, but Vulcan already trapped in the front side. Sven's going to get locked up. DFM are going to get a double here. Unipon actually low. Vulcan making it very close to the Ignite. Might be able to get out to safety, but Aria with the perfectly timed roam. Bandage shots there. Flash is there as well. Shockwave, though, is going to catch him. Husha just barely finds the W, but Aria falls asleep but still gets the kill.
Okay, DFM. Excellent timing on this Sven flash. That was timed to a T. You saw Gang perfectly waiting in the brush, and then the Hex Flash Q to start was such a great way. Save your E so you don't have to actually worry about landing a skill shot. Vulcan, I think, instantly read, okay, Sven's dead, can't save him. And he actually tried to solo kill Unipon, got pretty close to doing it. But, you know, just Aria with the roam down, able to cut off the escape path, and got the flash follow to get the kill.
And this is the game plan in full effect for Detonation FocusMe. They're up 1,000 gold. Yes, Evie couldn't make it down to the bottom lane, but that doesn't matter. Apparently, DFM have more than one way to get Unipon ahead here. As Steel's now roaming up to this top side of the map. Fudge, that's a really rough time to face check. Wonderful flash to get out there, but that's just like, that's the classic top lane timer.
Yeah, that's tough. And this is one of the spots in the map where you're hoping you still had some semblance of control, was playing around Fudge, as well as the Zoe pick, because bot lane at this point is a bit of a disaster, but Fudge losing his flash means this is a tough fight.
Well, Steel actually just going in for it. There's 4 people here for Cloud9. Perkz not going to connect with the bubble or the paddle style. Vulcan is level 6, ready with the ulti.
I mean, they are slowing this down enough for the rest of DFM to potentially collapse, but Ezreal's not even trying, so I don't think they're really going to give a serious contest here.
No, not at all. Blabber just going to go ahead, grab the Herald, so gets the first Herald and the first Dragon, which is always good. At this point, Cloud9 might just say, like, maybe top lane's better. Maybe we just stay here. Don't want to go back to the bottom lane. In fact, Sven's getting free time in mid, which has to feel good.
Yeah, I mean, Vulcan's level 6, and there's a blue buff fight happening, and without the Ezreal there, they have the man advantage.
I like that C9 are continuing this pressure. Detonation FocusMe are showing a lot of respect here to this Amumu level 6, it feels like. I mean, Sven is in the area as well, not too far strutting over from mid.
Interrupts the recall with the Ezreal. Nicely done. I mean, it's going to buy enough time for Unipon the bot lane to grab. I think that was 3 turret plates. So for losing Rift Herald, absolutely a fine trade for DFM. Unipon continues to get further ahead. Sven wasn't losing farm because he was actually holding the mid wave. It's a Perkz that ends up falling behind off that play a little bit with the farm. And they did get a turret plate top, but still not a big offset for C9. We'll have to see if they can use the Rift Herald to really get it back and make that play worth it, because otherwise DFM coming out a little bit ahead off that trade.
Yeah, Perkz just going to miss the cannon, unfortunately. But he's going to collect the rest of the wave and should be A-okay as Blabber goes back to farming. Fudge doing what he can. I mean, like, again, at this point, with, you know, the items kind of under Evie, has the steel caps, really is the big one. Rift Herald's going to get summoned mid. Vulcan continuing to stay active here alongside Blabber, but this is mostly a play for this dragon, it looks like.
I wonder if that was I want a sweeper here, and I popped Rift Herald.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know if it was, because immediately afterward, Blabber popped sweeper and ran through river to start the dragon up. Also works to get you pressure for dragon, so I don't know if it was exactly a misclick or not, but either way, C9 used that pressure on the mid lane to grab the dragon as well as get some gold in their pockets. Ties the gold lead up.
Vulcan continuing to chill, looking for a nice ult angle. Aria, no flash, so definitely a target you can connect on. But as we've mentioned before, 2 champions are greater than 1. Bottom lane is a nice place to use the Amumu ulti. That has been true since the dawn of League of Legends. Amumu jungle have been going bot lane for a long time.
That's very true. Amumu has the potential. We haven't seen it yet this tournament still. We'll have to see if Vulcan can turn it around, because it's looking like another stinker Amumu game, to be honest.
Yeah, it's always a little, you know, it's a worrying trend, as they say. As a wise man once said.
as a wise caster once noted about it, C9 before.
You know, the Amumu win rate has not been stellar. And we'll see if the fortunes can change here. Kraken Slayer done now for Sven. As C9 continue to stay active, Vulcan is like intent on ulting someone.
Ooh, this might be it.
That's Bubble. No flash still. Bandage just one. Battlestar in. Blabber collects.
All right, well done there. Perkz giving the alley-oop to Vulcan. You know, sleeps one, and then Vulcan slams it down with the bandage toss ultimate. Blabber picks up the kill. Honestly, kind of like it going on him if you want someone to be able to snowball the game. Probably a little bit easier to do than Zoe, and now they're trying to collapse on this top push that DFM was answering the mid-kill with.
Goldrinker Olaf at it again. There's more than one champion in the brush, so Gay is there to tie it up. But Ragnarok is going to ignore all of that here. The two-shot barrage is trying to make it happen. Evie, you know, within his way out of there, takes down Fudge. Blabber still trying to find him, but Steel, perfect timing, takes down Perkz, and DetonatioN FocusMe. They're just so good, man.
God, that was so clean by Evie. That huge haymaker onto 3 members of Cloud9. Put them low enough to finish that kill off. Plus, Arya's respawn TP back in made sure that they continue to win that skirmish on the top side. I thought that initially looked good for Cloud9. I was liking how it was starting with even the Blabber face check. You know, he's Olaf with ult up and Goredrinker. He's 100% fine in the 2v1 while the rest of his team collapsed. Uh-oh, we're still fighting.
Really good TP here by Cloud9. Vulcan going to have to be accurate though. Fudge is here. Bandage shot is good. Steal the target. No ulti, no hope. As Evie the next one. Second bandage shot is good at Cloud9. Oh, they're just so good, man.
Let there be chaos, Pastry. This extended fight in the top lane. Is it finally over? I think so. But we'll have to see. Maybe it's just getting transferred down to the bot lane. Sven just blast going over the wall. He doesn't know Leona's in the bush.
Oh, he suspects? Oh, very, very good movement.
Thank you, Strut. That's one of those times where you just walk away from there.
Magical boots and Strut. Good enough. As well, just want to get this is wonderful.
So right here, I'm like, all right, this is fine. You're going on the Olaf. You have the initial mana advantage. You know, it looks like a 4v3. But Evie gets so much work done with the ultimate. That huge 3-man haymaker to finish off Fudge, all as well as getting a fat shield to keep him alive, was monstrous. And then Evie getting the TP back in. Steel as well, having a pretty nice follow on the chase onto Sven. Or excuse me, Sven. Perkz, I can't speak. Perkz to get the kill. And then, you know, they get the TP back themselves and ends up being, I think, a 4 for 3 in C9's favor, including the mid kill. Anyways, crazy fight in the top lane. Walking away from it, the important thing to note, Blabber, fed as hell now.
Yep.
This is what we were talking about. Coming into the game, Blabber on Olaf tends to be able to find a lot of kills. He's also extremely far ahead in farm, up 30 CS.
Oh, late exhaust there for Perkz that he picked up off the ground. Ari with a really nice shockwave there, but Perkz with no teleport. Actually, that's somewhat significant. Is going to be time still to back off for the Dragon. So unfortunately for Arya, you know, not perfect timing to try and find a play, but still great work on the Perkz. That could have converted into a kill if there was someone a little bit closer. And I see that Arya's on point there with the shockwaves. There's Blabber low on mana, still coming towards the top half of the map because Vulcan is once again in the back pocket.
Yeah, I feel like they want to get a little bit more pressure around Fudge. A lot of flashes burned in that top side means that, you know, if you can get on top of Evie, you can probably get the kill. Like you said with that shockwave though, Arya able to get a lot of vision control for his team in the bot river for that Dragon coming up. And I wonder if C9 is going to abandon that plan and actually just focus on top side. With the blue buff steal and top turret being taken by Fudge and second Rift Herald being up, they might prioritize that, but DFM want to contest on the top side actually.
Yeah, it doesn't have teleport for Fudge, so they're going to have to commit to this play.
Whoa.
Fudge, oh, the greed is there, but he actually has the rat to maybe run back. Arya, no shockwave, remember? But now over here, as Blabber's already going back in. The play works! Fudge has found it over the wall with the blast code. He goes, bullet time, finally does something in a game! And Evie has actually found a kill in the mix of it all as well. Rift Herald now for Cloud9, but that was a one-team fight, 3 for 1.
Who's flanking who? You see Fudge greeting out to get the last hit in the turret, and you think, oh no, he's getting wrapped around on. But the entire time DFM is chasing through the turret, or the river to get behind him, Cloud9's right behind them. And so when they hesitate and don't continue into the lane, Vulcan finally showing up on this Amumu pick, hits a fat Curse of the Sad Mummy. Yeah,
and I want to apologize, Emmet players, you have had great bullet time so far this tournament, but I feel like we just haven't been rewarded with the satisfaction of Amumu and MF doing the thing that they were recruited to do. As Perkz, missing that bubble might mean your doom. Arya, not enough. Does have flash, but doesn't want to go for it. Perkz with the flash up as well.
Yep, getting the speed up from using the Ignite there and skedaddles on out of that dangerous situation. But you can see Arya getting the better of Perkz in a lot of these fights now with a 30 CS lead. Some of that was Perkz' roaming, but I think Arya is also showing in lane phase, able to chunk out the Zoe again and again and then push lanes.
Also going to get this tower, so that's extra gold. Going to close the gap there. closer to 1,500 than 2K now, and the Rift Herald's going to go over to Detonation FocusMe as well. C9 did want the Dragon, as I watch this one again.
Yeah, so you see them hesitate to turn around onto Olaf, but that's exactly what they want. Vulcan also using the Banish Toss to get out of the Leona stun allowed him to land that entire combo. If he was a little slower and he gets stunned up and insta-killed, then this doesn't happen. Sven's not able to layer the ultimate perfectly on top of it, and Blabber's not free hitting them the entire time that they're locked up. So that was a really clutch ultimate. You can see Cloud9 feeling, oh my god, Jack. He's letting them know. But they needed that because they were in trouble this game, and they actually chose to go for the Dragon stacking over the Rift Herald after winning that fight. An interesting decision, and one that I actually I kind of agree with. You want the team fighting power of the Infernal Soul. You have the 5v5 sat bullet time thing we were talking about, and they were just trying to accelerate down that game plan rather than getting, you know, an extra couple hundred gold from the Rift Herald. I think this is putting you closer to an actual win condition than the Rift Herald would have.
I agree. It's also like, again, the Olaf thing is that not only is it a Infernal Soul, it's a very fast Infernal Soul, right? Because that first Dragon like disappeared in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So I like the move from Cloud9. They're maintaining their gold lead still, almost back up to that 2,000 gold advantage, but if there's one thing I'm learning as the tournament goes on longer is don't doubt Detonation FocusMe.
Nope. They
are so good at finding a way. Evie is just an absolute magician when it comes to skirmishes and team fights, and Unicorn is deadly on just about any AD, as we'll certainly one of the ones he's very proficient on, and Ari's having a good game as well. So it's all coming together here for Detonation FocusMe, despite the current deficit against Cloud9, who are looking to just creep ever so slowly further forward.
And I think for Detonation FocusMe, you know, they still have a pretty clear way to win the game. It's an heavy flank, landing an ult, whether you're grabbing in Fudge or you're grabbing in Sven, delivering them to your Orianna, the combo with the Leona ult and Ezreal and all this burst damage, just taking out one of the immobile members right away for Cloud9. The only problem is, you know, you have a pretty slim margin of error with a missed execution probably resulting in an Infernal Soul for a poke comp. There's so many ways to proc this explosion from the Infernal Soul if they lose it, that, you know, it is a high pressure situation here, and the fact that they're down in gold, they just lost a mid lane turret, you're going to lose their bot lane one here, it makes it so that in 2 minutes when you need to start finding those flanks that we're talking about, it's a lot more difficult because Cloud9 is going to have control over your bot side jungle.
Love the early groundwork they're doing, going in, sweeping up almost all of the vision, making sure Fudge can finish off the tower so they have even more space around the pit. I mean, we've Zoe and Fog of War around objectives, you know, go together like peanut butter and jelly. It is so frustrating to try and take an objective or contest for an objective when Zoe's throwing bubbles at you through terrain in the Fog of War. Locket also done now for Vulcan. No, that's Sunfire. Never mind. I take it back.
It's okay. I think the interesting thing there was Arya being sent to the top lane to grab up some farm. I think they realized that he is the most important win threat or win condition on their team, and so funneling some gold into him in the top lane, funneling some experience up there. He is tied for the highest level in the game at 13. Fudge as well up there. So they know who their big threat is. It's Arya. They want to try and get him probably, if they can, to a second item in time for this. But like you said, it's just such an early Infernal Soul, and Blabber's gotten so far ahead of the game. He's at 2 items completed already. He's going to be a monster to deal with these fights.
Yeah, 2 stopwatches as well here for Cloud9, 1 for Blabber, 1 for Perks. So like about as much power as you can ask for at this point for Cloud9. Everyone's going to recall back in. Fudge is going to, Perks is going to swap over to Cleanse. So Cloud9 are ready to team fight here, and there is no vision for Detonation FocusMe in this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to try and get in here. Do they try and leak in through bot lane and get that wave pushing for DFM, or do they just try and brute force through all this poke? It's really difficult, and I think Cloud9 does not care about mid priority right now. Yeah, they're contesting it a little bit, but if they lose a turret, oh, maybe they're just going to fight.
Vulcan! He's found it again! 2 with the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Blabber now following in onto gang, but Vulcan does die at the end of the play. Cloud9 need a kill, and Blabber does deliver. That's both supports traded off here, but what else is left? Steel now going to dive in onto Blabber. Evie actually wants to go towards the rest of the team. He finds Fudge into the face breaker, but Fudge is still alive for a short while longer. Steel finally finishes it off as Unicorn went too deep, dives to Blabber. But on the back end of it, Sven's being chased down, and now Perks is just going to get rushed on there by Steel. Blabber now caught out of position. And Detonation FocusMe, they want it all here. Arya is going to zone out Perks despite the bubble, and Blabber just has to run away from the objective they were trying to do.
Cloud9, they have this great position with a poke comp. Hold on, we'll see if Blabber can get out before I rant.
Steel running interference. Blabber now got to fight his way out, but Arya's here. There's nothing to do. The shields are in, and Blabber is just going to get CC'd up. Ragnarok's no more, and he will die.
Blabber's dead. 22 minutes into the game, Baron's up. You see a question mark pinged by Cloud9. They're wondering if they're going to transfer that, though. I think the correct call by DFM here is trying to get to this dragon. It's a longer standing buff, and I think easier to take. So you see TPs coming in from both teams, understanding the importance of this objective right now.
Yeah, Fudge actually here very early. Vulcan is wandering back because he had to go over and ward the Baron just in case that was the play. Speedtrain goes over to Arya though, and Cloud9 just have to give this up.
Yep, Steel's going to show up in time. Blabber's still dead, means there's no way to smite this objective down. And so DFM, we're talking about how important it was to win that team fight, and they pull it out. Evie in particular, absolutely monstrous performance. He has been so important for this team, and we'll hopefully get a look at that to see exactly how we got that angle. Because that felt like a massive overforce by C9.
Both lead less than 1,000 now between the two teams. That Soul, the longer it gets delayed, the harder it's going to look for Cloud9 to watch this one again.
I just don't understand. You have vision control in River, you have your poke set up, and you just go all in to try and lock them down in mid lane, make them come into you. And because they have to extend so far, Evie just has a free access to the back line. Blabber has to go way too far forward. They trade supports out here, but now Blabber is just in a position where he's trying to get back to his team, and that allows Evie to use him as a gap closer to dunk him on top of Fudge. Fudge gets forced down really low. It's an easy chase down for Sven as well then, because the team split. Perkz isn't anywhere near them. And so while Perkz and Blabber stay alive for a little bit longer there, they lost the fight on the other side of the map. I just don't understand why you would have abandoned your position to force that fight that hard.
Yep, not in the Viking could save the Axe replay there. Cloud9 definitely getting got there by Detonation FocusMe, who are looking so coordinated. I mean, we've shouted at Evie a ton throughout the tournament, and with good reason, but Steel is so good on just about any champion. Like, the fact that his Xin looks about as good as his talent, and those champions are so different in what they're trying to do from the jungle, he's been really impressive. This is a game where Detonation FocusMe's teamwork feels like it's really showing up, as well as their individual skill.
Yeah, I think it's been what started as a great game for them through the bot lane plays that they are making. Cloud9 clawed their way back in with some nice plays around the top lane, because that is one of the power points that they drafted for themselves. And since then, it's just been back and forth, blow for blow. As soon as one team feels like they're getting a foothold on the game, the other team finds a way to claw back into it.
And you highlighted earlier that Arya, kind of the big piece here for Detonation FocusMe. Like, obviously Uniform wants to live, he'll do plenty of damage if he does, but the Shockwave is kind of the big ticket there. Maybe Evie would engage to help set it up, but Arya needs to land a good Shockwave in team fights for Detonation FocusMe to feel comfy. And the other side does kind of feel like a similar thing, where you are putting a lot of stock into your Amumu ulti, finding a hold in a 5v5.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's not really any engage aside from Vulcan. And so I'm not going to fault him for struggling a little bit this game. I think the brute force charge at them ult that we just saw there is exactly what you don't want to do. Let them try and walk through your Zig, or your Zoe. Let them try and walk through your Jace. And then when they get low, it's a lot easier to kind of have this threat of an all-in just killing someone with Blabber. So, you know, it's a tough position for Vulcan to try and navigate, but they can't do it. And to your point about DFM, you know, Arya is huge right now. He is a huge threat. He's just going to get bigger and bigger as the game goes on.
Yeah, level 15, 4-1 and 2. Next Dragon's up in 2 minutes. We'll see if rank 3 Shockwave is online for Arya at that point, because Cloud9 are getting pushed back at this point. Detonation FocusMe. We saw before Cloud9 did such a good job of moving down to the bottom side, getting all the vision control and setting themselves up for that Dragon. And now Detonation FocusMe is doing the exact same thing, but on the Baron side of the map.
Yeah, when they group like a 4-man with this, it's really hard to want to pick a fight with them. I mean, you have poke to throw to try and force them out of your jungle when they're doing this vision control, but it is something you're scared of. And what's really nice for DFM, all their flashes are going to be up. A little unsure about the Leona one, but the most important one being Arya being safe. Udapon's going to be really safe. Evie's going to have his flash for playmaking. Same case for C9 side, but I feel like it's a little bit more important for Arya to have his flash up and be able to dodge out on the one big engage that is probably coming his way. Whereas for C9 side, like, how many threats do you have for DFM's engage? Like 3, 4 that you have to worry about, you know? So a single flash is not, like, you might flash away from a Leona ult, but then you're still going to have to worry about Evie flanking you and stuff like that. So the single flash for Arya is probably the most important summoner in the entire game right now.
Yep, and Gang did get his back as well, but great highlights as we have 10 flashes coming into this upcoming Dragon fight. 50 seconds or so until it spawns, and Arya did indeed get to rank level 16 before this fight is breaking out, so that makes me nervous. Teleport ward, very deep. Sven going to be the target. Steel starting it off so well, but Evie, here he comes, Vulcan, Now just has to play distraction, but Perks is actually going to fend him off, and Cloud9 disengage very nicely.
Huge bandage tossed by Vulcan there. The peeling Amumu, not normally what you see, but that saved Sven's life and allows them to contest on this mid push.
Didn't save Sven's flash though. Most notably, he still had to commit that in that play. The poke is good here. Arya's a nice target to get. Perks is going to try and follow up, but Cloud9 are very scattered. And DetonatioN FocusMe can just run at Cloud9. Arya, beautiful position there for the choke. Now Blabber is the target to go in, but Vulcan's going to try and make it happen. More time happens. Vulcan pumps the ulti, but it's just not enough. Steel is going to take him out. Perks is going to get stunned up by Gain, and that's 3 clean kills for DetonatioN FocusMe.
DetonatioN FocusMe absolutely punished Cloud9's positioning. The teleport from the lane minion as, hold on, Cloud9 saved that play a little bit. They're going to lose Baron still, absolutely, but they do find a little crumb of hope for this game. Just getting that soul point.
Yep, and they were always going to lose this Baron at this point, so can't be too upset about that. Getting the soul's nice, but DetonatioN FocusMe, again, just scattering Cloud9. It's so simple for them to just kind of walk at them, right? Because Cloud9 have to rely on all this poke, have to rely on this perfect setup with the Amumu and the MF to really get it going, and instead DetonatioN FocusMe just like have everything still run at you.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many engage tools, which is what we were just highlighting,
right.
And you know, it's very little peel. Here's the one moment where they maybe could have won it for C9, when they over chase on the Blabber, I'd say, and all end up clumped here. Vulcan sees the moment and just flash bandage toss totally in the wrong direction. If he lands that bullet time with, or ultimate with Sven's bullet time, maybe they can lock people in place. But as soon as that misses, all the skill shots are all over the place for Cloud9. They're panicking here. They're trying to win this fight. On the flip side, DFM is calm and composed. They know what they need to do, and you can just see Cloud9 understanding how difficult of a position it is from here. It's a big gold deficit. You do have the Infernal Soul as your one saving grace, but you're about to lose a lot of objectives on the map.
And DetonatioN FocusMe, I think for the first time in this game, or at least significantly, they have the gold lead that Cloud9 has been holding on to for so long, and now here with the Red Bull Baron power play, they are looking to extend that very, very far, and it does feel like the windows are starting to close. Cloud9 are going to need a ridiculous amount of skill shot accuracy and poke, and the Amumu ult of a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, the damage that their poke does is no joke with this buff, and you know, DFM still need to be careful. Oh, Perk's out of position.
Flash, Evie follows instantly, face breaker there. But now Evie a little too far forward. Doesn't matter though, Perks just can't do anything. Portal jumps back to where he started from. Unipon, low but not dead as Cloud9 looking for a kill. Sven does manage to pick off Evie thanks to that Infernal Soul that will maybe slow down this siege.
Yeah, it doesn't look like DFM's ready to back away quite yet. It's Fudge from downtown blows up Unipon, and that will put an end to this siege and this Baron buff push.
All right, the poke, as you said it, Mark, was no joke. Even though Perks got a little too far forward, Cloud9 will save themselves the trouble of losing more towers, picking off 2 between the Jace and the Zoe. And now looking for stragglers, but DetonatioN FocusMe go the long way back towards their base as they'll look to reset.
Yeah, and that was an understandable move by DFM. When you see Perks jump forward like that, it's a pretty greedy move by Perks, honestly, and so you want to punish it. You have Evie get the pullback, and you think you can finish him off, but he just kites it out so well. You have MF layering her ultimate over the wall, which was a really nice ult by Sven to stop people from being able to chase. Steel used his ult to stop that damage and everything, but it was just a little bit of an overextension on DFM's side, and they'll have a little bit of time with Baron buff up, but I think you know, as you can see, the gold lead they actually got from it's pretty minimal, and that's feels kind of bad.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's interesting is these carries are not really created equal. Sven has Infinity Edge done and is actually working on item number 4, but Unipon's 3 items and a QSS. Like, I don't think Ezreal's unhappy here, even though Sven's damage output is very significant, but Arya is just stacked up right now.
Yeah.
Has the Death Cap now done, 4 items done versus the Zoe that's still trying to find her 3rd. Like, there's just only so much that Perks can do, even with this Infernal Soul. If Arya finds like half a good shockwave, teamfights are going to end in an absolute instant.
Yeah, I think we haven't even seen Arya land a fat shockwave yet, and we've seen DFM take a couple fights in a row now. They've done a good job of harrying C9's backline. You know, Sven flashing early in a fight without Evie really having to commit anything more than the TP. If fights keep going that way, you know, it's not even going to be on Arya, honestly, to land a huge shockwave. And it just makes it scarier if he does find one, that the fight just instantly ends if he can land it on a couple of the squishier members.
All right, well, looks like Perks is going for Rabadons now, so not going towards Zon. He's going to have a little less safety in the future. But again, I feel like the shockwave gets you, even if you stay still, you might just be dead anyway. If you're that close to the Orianna. Cloud9 are leaning on their poke right now. Arya is just... Wow, he's 2 levels ahead of Fudge. That is wild.
Yeah, he's level 18, so at this point, as much as they've split him off the map, you know, you almost don't want to do it anymore and let some of the other people hit their level 16s. You know, Steel's kind of close. Udapon is there, luckily, and Gang is just never going to get there unless this game goes another 15 minutes. On the flip side, for C9, you know, a lot of people still trying to get 16 themselves. Vulcan luckily finally hit level 2 for his ultimate.
Yeah, that's the big one. I mean, Leona's level 2 Soulflare is fine, but Amumu definitely gets big boosts when you get ultimate ranks, and a support Amumu, it just doesn't... I mean, it barely happens that much in jungle. Level 16, it probably never happens in support. No. But level 11, you'll take it. That's basically level 16.
Okay, so interesting situation here. C9's putting everyone down to the bot lane, getting ready for the Elder Dragon to come up in 50 seconds. And they're getting to a bit of a base race situation with DFM. DFM pinged down mid lane and thought about going there, but they're too far behind the play currently to actually full commit to it, so they need to rotate some people down to threaten C9 from just doing an inhibitor push. But that does mean they're face checking this poke from C9.
This choke point looks tricky, but Arya does back away. Cloud9 now wrapping back around to the mid lane here. 25 seconds till the Elder Dragon's up.
It's touch and go right now. DFM wants C9 to come to them a little bit more, but C9 are happy to camp out in the river. They say, if you want to go mid, you know, like, you do that. We'll look at the Elder Baron, or Elder buff, excuse me. All
right, TP from Evie. He's coming down. 5v5 time now for Detonation FocusMe. Cloud9 have the vision. They've shut it out. They're ready for the poke. Detonation FocusMe gonna have to walk into Cloud9's poke. This is kind of what you want, but they have to watch so many flanks here for the Infernal Rift, and the Elder Dragon's been started. Now Detonation FocusMe going in. Vulcan running interference in the front line, but he's not even gonna get to ulti. He does get it up a little late, but it's gonna get jumped on there by Steel, and now he's just dead. Yes! Does get caught there by Husha at the end of it all. I think the Elder Dragon actually killed him, but Blabber's taking down Evie, but now Detonation FocusMe. They're the team looking to take this objective. Blabber's dead.
Blabber got picked off there, not able to do much as the, you know, late game. Oh, hold on here.
Perks. Love the attempt. The bubble does not pop in time, and the smite, of course, is more than enough. There was no smite for Perks to pick up there, so he couldn't have kind of the classic Zoe steal, and that is such a big objective win for Detonation FocusMe.
That is huge. I mean, the Elder buff itself with a single dragon is not that massive, but it still denies it from Cloud9. It allows them also to rotate up and probably grab this Baron without much of a contest from Cloud9, getting the gold lead massively in their favor, and it feels like Cloud9's comp has largely been outscaled at this point. The Olaf, who was super fed, not much of an actual threat anymore. It doesn't have that many easy ways onto the members of DFM, so a super easy fight, honestly, for DFM to win. You know, they get into the river clean enough, and they just, as you often do when Amumu is the only threat, just kill the Amumu. Look at that. You know, the ultimate's not that important. Steel does a good job stopping Sven, just getting on top of his face. Blabber's hitting Evie, which is about the last person in the world you want to be hitting, and Fudge and Perks are just not factors forced back.
And it was right. Elder Dragon did indeed add some DPS there onto Sven.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Did Arya even ult in that fight? No. This is my point, is that, like, we talk about Arya being so critical to this team, but their comp is so much better, and they're executing so much better in these 5v5 situations that Arya, despite being massively ahead, they've invested all these resources into him. The rest of the team's like, nah, dude, don't worry. Yeah. Sorry we scared you. Sorry we made you think you're going to have to be the monster threat, but we got your back, dude.
Just EW is the frontliners. That's all he needs to do.
Throw a shield on this guy, QW, the Olaf, great.
Detonation FocusMe, again, very important to reiterate, winning this game for either team qualifies you to the main stage of the 2021 World Championships. For Detonation FocusMe, that'll be the first time ever that they have made it that far.
Not only that, but going as first seed out of your group is a huge statement win for the LJL. And they've been on the rise for years now, slowly grinding their way up, getting better year over year. A lot of these players have been the ones doing it too, which means it's going to be such a sweet payoff if they're able to close out Cloud9 here.
This Red Bull Baron power play is looking dicey on the Cloud9 side. Perks trying to get it, but they still have the Elder Dragon ticking for 25 seconds. A whiff basically on the ulti. I think Sven's actually trying to clear the wave. Does do so, but Detonation FocusMe not done. That Baron up cannon still there. This is so tough to hold. That tower is going to mount Evie once again. Who else is diving into the back line? And now Unicorn's taken out two. Detonation FocusMe get another as Unicorn grabs the double. There's the fourth. Evie forcing out Fudge, and they will do it. Detonation FocusMe qualify for the main stage. stage of the World Championships.
They come into play-ins, take a hard loss to Cloud9. They leave play-ins, demolishing them in the tiebreaker game to grab the first seed of Group B, auto-qualifying into the main stage for the first time in LJL history, and you can just see how much it means to these players.
I mean, it sucks as an NA fan, obviously, but you have to be happy for this team. Such a cool story. It is. They've been powering up, right? Like, this play-in for them is almost like a mini chronicle of the journey they have been on to get to this point.
It's a microcosm for sure. When they came in initially and started getting play-in spots in international competitions, they got slammed. They were one of the weakest minor region teams playing, and year over year, event over event, they started climbing a little bit higher, started beating out some of the other minor region teams, and then in MSI kind of showed how scary they could be. You know, they beat Cloud9 in a single game there. They almost beat Damwon Kia a couple of times. They had a bunch of really close games, and then, you know, finally they get Gang in there. The final piece of the puzzle that they were waiting on, they had him in their back pocket the whole time. They just had to wait until they could actually put him in, and now you see the payoff for it. They make it to the main stage over Cloud9.
What a game. Honestly, that was a fun way to go out of the playing stage for DetonatioN FocusMe. Cloud9, of course, will still be around. They will keep the top seed for the best of 5, so they'll play again on Sunday. Sven's starting to look less like a meme lord and more like a prophet. I guess we'll have to see.
Well, we'll see, because he said that they want to beat Hanwha, but they can't meet them in the actual knockout stage. So,
unfortunately,
maybe a little confusion around that. And I think, you know, as excited as these guys are, you just see them popping off. For how long a lot of these people have been grinding in that scene, you know, like, you've watched Envy over the years, you've watched Udapon, you know, Arya coming in, replacing Saros, who was someone who was so critical for that scene for a long time, you know, like, it's just been this slow building of pieces to finally get to the point that they're here.
I believe the stat is that Evie and Udapon are some of the longest running players to ever be with a single org, and the only player that has been with a single org longer is Faker.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So that's really cool. That was such a fun game. Obviously, unfortunate for CNI fans, but you have to be happy for the LGR kicking DetonatioN FocusMe through. Coming up, it is time for World's Cooldown with Shocks, Emily, and Chronica. We'll also hear from Arya about his qualification from the group stage. Don't go anywhere.